Hello, it's Scott Manley here with, well, I guess part 3 of my random elite starting from scratch. And today I thought, let's talk about trading, because trading is, of course, the kind of meat and potatoes of what elite is. This is my little Sidewinder, and I'm going to take a nice look at it because I'm going to get rid of it and replace it with a much more practical spacecraft for trading. Yes, this is a great little starter ship. It has some room inside, but no, we are going to buy a better spaceship, and that's why I'm at a Beagle 2 landing. Now, of course, this is the beta. Not every ship is going to be available here, but hopefully we have some of the ships. Hopefully you can find a place to buy the ship you need. Now, to replace ships, you're going to go to the shipyard, oddly enough. Yeah, if you bought the game early on, you get a free Eagle. I'm not going to use that. The Eagle is absolutely an upgrade over the Sidewinder, but I want to buy a ship, so select the shipyard, and what I'm looking for is the Hauler. The Hauler is a cargo ship. The cost here, I will point out, is 1/10 of what you would pay for real in the if you were to buy this in the game. So I'm just going to purchase that, and I can store my old ship, or I can I can sell my current ship. So yes, I'll do that. Confirm. There we go. So I'll actually get a bit of money back from selling my Sidewinder, which I got for free. Oh wait, I think there might be a slight exploit here. Then again, it is a beta, so all rules are off. Okay, so now, yeah, did I get money out of this? Look over here. Yeah, I got a little more money. That's fine. Before I take this out, we want to make it into a trader. The Hauler is kind of like the Ford Transit van of spaceships. It's a small spaceship. It's not really designed for heavy goods trafficking, but it'll do you good. You want to fit this out a little better, though, for traveling. It has only one weapon system. We're not really caring about that. But we have these cargo racks. Now, the cargo racks are... see how it says E2, and underneath it says a 3. So that means this is a Class 2 cargo rack in a Class 3 internal compartment, which means I can get a bigger one. So I'm looking for a bigger one, and the way I would do this is to look here, price descending, because actually price ascending would have been right to start with, because pretty near the start we're going to see the cargo units or whatever, and I guess it's cargo rack, and it'll be a size 8. This just means that we've got more room inside. So cargo rack size 4 is there, cargo rack size 8. They basically double. Oh no, it's a fuel tank. Fuel tank, come on, there you go. There's not really any good way to sort this, I don't think. So I'm going to buy that and confirm. It's going to cost me a little bit of money, but it will vastly increase my ability to, fit things. Also, same plan, down here somewhere. Somewhere. Oh, fuel tank, cargo rack. And actually, before I select this, also pay attention in the bottom right corner there. Now, this tells you your power use, it tells you your cargo capacity and what will change. So you see that it's taking my cargo capacity and make it bigger. It increases my mass, but it will tell you my jump range is currently 9.87 kilometers, but when I'm fully laden, it's only... kilometers, light years, pardon me, I'm confusing light years and kilometers. That's only a factor of like a billion wrong, or several billion wrong. It's a really big number wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, let's fit that. We're going to confirm. And, I can also do things like get rid of my basic discovery scanner if I want. I can replace that with another cargo bay, but I could only fit 2 units of cargo in that. I could get rid of the shield generator. Maybe not such a good idea, but I could, for example, take the shield generator, sell it, put a 4-unit cargo rack in there, and then put a smaller shield in here. That would at least help me a little. Equally, you can also go in and you can upgrade bits and pieces here. For example, the frameshift drive actually is worth upgrading if you can buy and equip. The Class D in this case, and you may not have the money to do this, but the Class D will really help with the range. So I'm going to do that while I'm here. And, if you upgrade everything to Class D, then it will really help with your mass, because the Class D items are the lightest. You see, they have different bonuses. Class A is very expensive but generates a lot of power. I'm going to do this because range is actually going to really help me here, so I'm just going to do that. You probably wouldn't have enough money right away to do this, but I can do this because I'm in the beta. Just grind a little more and you'll be able to do it. There's sensors, bind equip, class D, again lighter. Confirm. And you see, by doing this, look, I've vastly improved my jump range a lot now. So we should be able to go further on the same thing. Anyway, we're here to trade. We've got 16 tons of cargo space. What are we going to buy? Well, we need to figure out where we're going to go. We actually need to figure out where we are right now, don't we? So if I'm looking over here, I can take a look at the system map. Now, the system map, I pointed out, lets you see what you've got, where you are, and what's going on. I'm at Beagle 2 landing, and on the information page, it tells you that Beagle 2 Beagle 2 is a poor, tiny population, high-tech and high-tech economy. That means it's producing high-tech stuff. It imports raw materials and it exports things like robotics and auto fabricators and things like that. It also tells you what's, restricted. So, you want to send things that are high-tech-ish, like machinery, to wherever you're going. Now, where are we going to go? Well, let's take a look and see where we can go. I'm actually going to go to a place that's really nearby, Iranin, right? So I can look at the system map for that. Iranin, back. And I guess I'll go to the galaxy map. There it is, Iranin. I can plot my route to it, and then take a look at the system map for that. So again, different star system. This is where I was bounty hunting just in the previous episode. So, the Iranin People's Party, they are an agricultural world. Now, as a high-tech world, what can we export to them? Well, they need animal monitors and aquaponic systems. Those sound kind of high-tech. Let's see if we can buy those at my high-tech station. So go back, and we've set our course. Now, to buy and sell things, you're going to go to the commodities market. So let's take a look. We're looking for, like, animal monitors and aquaponic systems. Agri-medicines, that... Animal monitors, aquaponic systems. Here we go. So, if you take a look here, it tells us the average cost of these things here. It tells you how much you're buying for it. So, that's cheaper than the galactic average, which is a good sign. But if you go up here, you can also click and say that we are going to Iranin, and it'll actually tell you that aquaponic systems are exported to Iranin. So I'm going to buy these. They're only 200 and something credits. They're not the most expensive things, so the profit margin isn't going to be huge. But we're just going to load up on these just to show you how trading works in principle. So we've got a full cargo of these. We're going to submit those. Now, to be aware, you've got to be careful because now we have a full cargo. If we get blown up, we will lose that cargo, even though insurance is there to help us. Okay. But we're ready to go. We've set our course. We're ready to launch. And I'm gonna select launch from here. I'm underground, or rather underneath the space station. If I look up using, of course, the camera, I can see the space station around me and appreciate the gorgeous ambience that the developers have created. Set your throttle to 0, always, when you're about to take off. You do not want to slide forwards or backwards into anything. Lift up vertically, put away your landing gear, and then start heading towards the mail slot, or rather the docking exit. We like to call it the mail slot because it's like a mail slot. So, ideally you want to keep your speed below 100 when undocking, unless there's some reason not to, because if your speed is more than 100 and you collide with something, you will be considered to be speeding, you will be considered to be at fault, which could cause you problems with your insurance, or more likely, it will mean that you have problems with the law. So I'm flying at about 100, maximum throttle. I'm only moving at 138. That's not very good. So full power to the engines. And I have the problem that I think what'll happen as soon as I leave the no fire zone and my mass locked light goes out, it won't let me jump right away because it tells me the target is obscured. So I need to pick some other location. Just cancel this for now, lock destination, and then jump. So now I can start flying away from this. I'm going to fly around the moon, and once I am clear of it, then I can actually begin the hyperspace jump. This is just, you know, it's just, you know what they say, hyperspace ain't like dust and crops, boy. Without precise calculations, you might fly into a planet, and that'd end your trip real quick, right? Okay, where we go? Iranen! Lock and engage hyperdrive. So, gotta align towards the target. If you are not aligned towards the target, it will tell you to align towards the target once you reach 100% charge. But as long as you're roughly close enough, it'll all work. Once it starts counting down, throttle down to 0 so that when the giant ball of flaming death appears in front of you on the other end, you don't immediately go full throttle into it. You can appreciate the sights and sounds of witch space around you. It is rather eerie. But just remember, in the original games, you could sometimes encounter bad guys in witch space. Selecting Azaban City. We are not going anywhere near that navigation point because there are bad guys, and we have cargo. Now, it's entirely possible that you will get bad guys coming after you. Do not try and fight them in a holler. You just want to try to get out of there. Ideally, you will, if you get somebody trying to interdict you, if you can't possibly match their maneuverability, right, when they try to interdict you, it tells you what way to try and go to stay in flight. If you don't think you're able to do that, throttle down to 0 so that you don't come out of control. And I overshot! I was talking too much, so I've overshot. So just gonna turn around and come back over the top. Yeah, keep it in the blue. Keep the speed in the blue. We're just providing a little extra loop here. Coming in from above over Azaban City. An agricultural, I don't know, venue of some sort. We're not going to make a huge amount of money here. Maybe, you know, a couple of thousand credits. But hopefully it will be something. Hopefully it won't be negative. There we go. I mean, traveling between these worlds isn't necessarily the most profitable thing, but if you want to have a career which is generally, you know, low skill, is really relaxing, it's basically space Euro Truck Simulator, then yeah, trading, you just travel between the worlds, preferably pick the safe worlds, find your goods at each destination, and then travel and drop them off, and you will be fine. There we go. Dropping out of warp, and it's once again time to dock with the space station. You can see the side near us is rotating clockwise. We want to find the anti-clockwise side, because that will be the side that contains the mail slot. We're within 7.5 kilometers, so let's request permission. Request docking. Docking request granted. It will always get granted if you're within 7.5 kilometers and there's nobody on all the pads. If you are in multiplayer modes and you're in a place with a lot of other players, it's entirely likely that you end up with pads that are occupied by other players, which can be a problem. So I'm just using my, you know, strafe down, my thrusters to push down to try and keep this thing in front of me while moving sideways. There's the star. We're gonna come in the front. This, if you'll notice on the front, there's kind of like a wire rack for guidance. In this case, we call that the toaster rack. Yes, I know there's all sorts of lingo if you're a space pilot. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to know all the lingo. We're coming in, and there's 29 on the other side. Notice how my compass is lined towards it. Put down the landing gear inside. You don't want to... The landing gear will slow your speed so that you can land more easily.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed. Coming down. Again, you want to use the vertical thrusters to just touch down in the middle of this, ever so gently.
Docking successful.
Okay,
Engine
Starport Services. So let's go and sell our stuff. We're going over to the commodities market, and we're looking for our the stuff that we have. Where was it? Oh, we've gone past it. Aquaponics system. So we have 16 tons to sell, and we're making 175 credits profit on each. So yeah, just over 2,000 credits. Oh, almost 3,000. That's decent. It's not quite as good as bounty hunting, but it's a good place to go and to continue. So that kind of trading is all and good. These generic commodities are fine if you have a big ship, but for smaller ships there's something else. There are rare goods. Iranan Pearl Whiskey is created to celebrate 30 years of Iranan independence. This special whiskey is being created in limited supply and expects to increase in value over time. But actually what they're really meaning to say is that it increases in value over distance. The further you take this away from Iranan, the more you can sell it for. There is an upper limit of about 160 light years, but there is the thing called the rare goods loop, right? These are courses that people have come up with that take you from one rare goods station to another, and as you travel around, you sell the things and you buy new fancy things, and this makes you a lot of money in a relatively small ship, but you need long hyperdrive range, and that's why I upgraded the hyperdrives in the previous station, because we really wanted to take advantage of the longer range to go further. Now I'm going to go to Altair. Altair is a Federation location, and because I've been looking up wiki pages and all that, I know that it actually has some special rare goods of its own to sell, and I will hopefully be able to make some profit by going here. Now I've used the fastest routes. You can see that it's 4 jumps to Altair. One of the things to be aware of with hyperdrive is that the further the jump, the less fuel efficient it is. Or rather, the shorter the jump, the more distance you can travel. So if you use efficient routes, you will make many, many more short jumps, but you will probably be able to travel much further by doing so. And I'm just checking the bulletin board to see if there's anything we can do to perhaps make some more money. I don't think there is, so instead we are off out of here. The Hauler is actually turns out to be a pretty good exploration ship as well. You can get decent jump drive range, or sorry, hyperdrive range on it. Go, get up and start moving out of here. So we have a very small amount of cargo in this case, because we're really just concerned about carrying our Iranan whiskey. And the less cargo we have, the better our jump drive range, or hyperdrive. I keep saying jump drive, hyperdrive range. So if you are wanting to go as far as possible, you want to strip out your spacecraft and make it as light as possible. The D-class hardware that I put in earlier, that is all the lightest possible hardware that you can fit. Weight becomes incredibly important when you're building an exploration vessel and you want to go to the galactic core, which is 30,000 light years away. Also, I love the sound of the engines in the Hauler. It sounds like a weird haunted spacecraft or something. Yeah, it may look like a Ford Transit in space, but it is a haunted, hyperdrive capable spacecraft able to leap across 12 light years in a single jump. If you look on the right side underneath the fuel, you can see the fuel bar there with a little blue bit at the top. See that disappeared? That's how much fuel I'm using for this 12 light year jump. So you can figure out that maybe I might be able to get 80 light years on this, just a rough estimate by jumping from one to another. So we should be able to go to Altair, which is 4 jumps away. That should be no problem. The exact equation for calculating jump distance and fuel consumption is pretty complicated. It's well documented. The important part, I think, is that there is a power law in there. So for the smallest spacecraft, doubling your distance quadruples your fuel consumption. It goes by the power of 2. But for larger ships, that power gets higher and higher. And I think the largest ship, the Anaconda, has a scaling factor of 2.6. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it is. And of course the upside of this is that if you jump half the distance, you can jump 4 times as much, so you can actually travel 4 times or twice as far, right? That's how it works. Anyway, we're just skipping from one star to another. Throttle down to 0 when you're in hyperdrive. Make sure that you don't end up frame shifting straight into the sun. As soon as you come out, you can use your compass there to figure out what way you need to face. I'm going to use my scanner here. Just gonna see if this space the thing will show up here. And nope. Is it gonna deploy? What's going on here? Oh yes, my Discovery scanner was not bound, so there we go. You see, there's no other
stars on the map, so I might as well run my scanner. No new objects detected. I can actually select this star while I'm waiting, and it will scan it. So if you look there, next to that picture of the star there, right? It has a little scanning, spinny progress thingy, and it tells us this is an M-class red dwarf. That is a lower mass star than the Sun, but it will last a really, really long time. With stars, the heavier they are, the brighter they burn, the faster they die. We are heading over to V151 Cygni. This is a variable star, I know because of the name, and it's in the Cygnus constellation. Again, the Swan, I know this because of the name. Another 12 light year jump, but it seems to pass in but a flickering of an eye which flickers an awful lot. Actually, if an eye was flickering this much, it would be considered a nervous twitch, I think. There we go. And the final jump on my route will be to Altair, which we are told is a Federation system with a democratic government. And, well, that's fine. They're Altair, 9.8 light years away. This was a named star. I believe it means something like the flying eagle or just flying. I'm not good at my Arabic, and as it turns out, neither were the people that transliterated the Arabic into English. But anyway, look, we've passed the 20-minute mark. I think we're gonna pause this and we're gonna do a part 2 where I land here and we hopefully make some profits. Until then, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.